The UK government is opening up a new front in its struggle to deal with illegal immigration. Vans carrying signs urging immigrants to seek free advice on how to go home are now to appear on the streets of London. And this isn't the first initiative like this. The fight with immigrants begins even before they arrive. Earlier, ministers considered an advertising campaign to stress the negative parts of life in Britain, hoping to thwart off the potential immigrants. Those who still arrive, though, especially people from Asia and Africa, will be forced to pay a £3,000 bond before they enter Britain. The money will be returned only upon their departure home. And if you want to apply for citizenship, well, there's a new version of the citizenship test coming into force this week, with questions about the UK's history and culture. You can see a few examples of the questions on the screen right there. Now, RT's Tessa Arcelia, she looked at the collapse of the idea of multiculturalism and whether the new anti-immigration initiative will cut the immigration waves even further.
This is Barking and Dagenham, one of 6 London boroughs where vans with massive billboards like the one behind me with the message "Go home or face arrest" will be driving around London in the next week. Now, this is the latest attempt of the UK Home Office to deal with illegal immigration in the country. They say they want to encourage a voluntary leaving of the country. Now, it will also advertise a number that can be texted by immigrants to ask for help and how to leave the country of their own accord. Now, the Home Office says that voluntary returns are the most cost-effective way of dealing with illegal immigration, with about 28,000 departures last year. And the immigration officer, Minister Mark Harper, had said that the message essentially is that there is an alternative to being led away in handcuffs. However, this program has received a lot of criticism. We had spoken with David Coburn of the UK Independence Party.
Well, we're utterly horrified. I mean, this is like, I don't know, it's like the Nazis going around Warsaw Ghetto with trucks. It's dreadful. It's discriminatory, it's unpleasant, it makes the country look extremely unpleasant indeed, and not something that's at all British, and something that I'm absolutely convinced the vast majority of the British public would not put up with. Now, it's not the fault of the immigrants, it's the fault of the government for letting them in. The borders of Great Britain should be controlled by our Parliament. It should not be controlled by the European Union.
We also spoke with the Migrant Rights Network to see how this might impact communities and what kind of reaction it could get from illegal immigrants and locals alike.
The Minister has chosen very diverse areas of London to drive this van around, and what it will do is actually create suspicion of immigrant communities and people who might look foreign in one way or another, and we think the government should be trying to be promoting good community relationships rather than trying to be stoking up fear within communities.
And all of this falling under an active push by the government to make Britain more difficult and, as has been reported, a more hostile environment to unwanted immigrants. Reporting from London, I'm Tessa Arcelia.
And Mohammed Butt, a councillor in the London Borough of Brent, he believes the government risks radicalising and isolating those who are illegally staying in the UK.
There are illegal immigrants. They are here for a reason. They're probably scared of going back home. They can't return back home. I just cannot see how this trick they're trying to use to flush out people is going to work. It just cannot work, because I can't see people responding to this text. It could actually backfire on the Home Office. There is bound to be some impact on the community, in my community, where people feel stigmatised, isolated and divided. The type of language that's being used on the hoarding will actually push people further underground, and my fear is, right, the most vulnerable people like women and children, right, will end up being exploited and end up in criminality.